A three-day plunge in stocks sent traders and consumers into a frenzy.
It's human nature to act emotionally about it, but when you invest, you have to try to take the emotion out of it.
A tough feat for those battling already high inflation and rising cost of living prices. This economic turmoil fueled by a slowdown in both hiring and spending, as laid out in the most recent jobs report.
And the market is always based on market prices rather are based on how investors feel about the state of the economy, the political situation, what's going on in the Federal Reserve and the global economy. And we're sort of at one of these points now where there's a lot of flux in all of those things.
Though stocks have stabilized for now, there's still some concern over high interest rates.
Hoping that the Federal Reserve is going to start lowering interest rates as soon as their next meeting in September.
Sacco says the Fed has the challenge of balancing inflation levels with interest rates, each having its own economic impact.
Think of an analogy of the economy being a car barreling down the highway. When it's going 85 at a 55, that's too fast. You risk an accident. If you jam on the brakes, that's also problematic, right? So you're trying to kind of slow things down to a pretty good rate of growth, but one that's not going to cause any problems.
For everyday consumers juggling elevated prices on just about everything, Sacco says to hold tight when it comes to investments.
We need these periods of volatility because that tells you the market's kind of doing its job in terms of evaluating risk.
Only putting money into the stock market that you don't need to financially rely on in the short term.
You basically are passively investing. You can pretty much guarantee that as long as you hold the money in the market for 10 years, you're going to average a return of 10 or 11%.
Now, even including this recent slide, U.S. stocks remain in positive territory this year, with the S&P 500 gaining around 9.4% and the Dow up over 2.5%. In studio tonight, Kaylee Collins, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.